Hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo podcast. My name is Jemma, and with me this week I have two very good friends. I have Kirk. Welcome back, Kirk.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And I have Trev. Welcome back, Trev.
Glad to be back. Greetings, Gemma. Greetings, Kirk. And greetings to all the Koopalings who are listening.
Yay! Yeah, it's good to have you back, Trev. It's been a few weeks since we've heard your voice, so it's good to have
No,
you.
I can't believe I missed last week with all that NES talk.
I know it wasn't great timing, but if you have anything to add, you can throw it in during the show. But we do have a nice long list of things to talk about this week. So we'll kick off with a bit of a Pikmin update, since that's the newest big game for Nintendo for the Switch. And I did notice some sales reports during the week. Did you guys notice these?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's
Good
doing really well.
numbers.
Yeah, very good numbers, which is great to see. And I mean, not a huge surprise. They've been advertising it a lot. And we had the demo, of course, to get people kind of engaged early. And I mean, what did we say? How long has it been since Pikmin 3? What was the time gap?
I think it's been eight years, or is it 8 years since they
Announced
Yeah.
it? It's
8
something
years
like that,
since
right?
they said this game was almost
Yeah.
done, even longer for
Yeah, geez.
3, I think.
It's a huge gap. Yes, a very big gap. So I think fans were sort of salivating, waiting for this. And I know, and Kirk's currently reviewing it, which is awesome. So you can give us a bit of a look at your feelings towards the game in a sec. But also, I think we kind of mentioned this last week, that it seems like a really good game for newcomers to the series. And I've read this online as well. People are saying this is a great. If you haven't played Pikmin 1, 2, or 3, Pikmin 4 is really accessible. And I know you haven't. I don't think you played it, right, Trev?
I'm
As of
sorry,
yet,
say that one more time.
you haven't played Pikmin 4 as yet. Is that correct?
No, this
No.
is the only one I've yet to play. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. But would you agree with that, Kirk? You think it's pretty accessible to newcomers?
Yes. Yeah. They've made a lot of adjustments to the controls that I think make it easier. There are more things you can do to sort of like level up, especially with Ochi, that make things a lot easier. So if you're paying attention and following tutorials, then they do put a lot of things in place to help keep as many Pikmin alive as possible.
Yes, that's the goal. And that's and I keep saying my son Hayden, he's a huge Pikmin fan. He loves it. But he obviously hates when Pikmin die. He just hates it. So it's all about keeping them alive and their survival. So it's good you can rewind it as well. I kind of wish you could tweak that a little in terms of the time, because you either go too far back or not far back enough. But it's still a good feature to have. Do you use that much?
I have, and I always feel dirty after I do.
Yeah.
It's the same with like Fire Emblem, where you can rewind things when somebody dies, and it becomes a crutch. And then after a while, I'm like, who cares? I'm just going to see what happens, as opposed to like really planning and thinking things out and
that's
coming up
true.
with a brilliant attack strategy. I just charge in, and if it doesn't work, I rewind and charge again. So I feel bad, but it's there.
It is there. And I suppose that's maybe the good thing about the Pikmin one is you can't control how far back you go. So it's a bit of a risk reward situation, because you can go back, but you still need to plan ahead, because it might take you back too far and you don't want to do that whole thing again. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, speaking of sales, I saw that it was number 1 in the UK charts, and in Japan, it's the best for the series to date, as in it's sold more. Pikmin 4 has sold more than Pikmin 1 did, or Pikmin 2 did, or Pikmin 3 did. And those were just physical sale numbers. So, we don't even have the digital numbers, which means it's probably, very likely that it sold a whole lot more than the numbers we've been given. So, very good start. Do you think it will kind of taper off pretty quickly? How do we feel about that?
I don't know. I think it's kind of a word of mouth game. Like a lot of people who don't know about it will see the reviews or have friends that are playing it and slowly get in, because I think it's one of those games where you end up being surprised by exactly how engaging it is if you've never experienced it. So it's not going to push, say, like Mario Kart for sales, but I think it'll continue to be a decent selling game for a while.
Yeah, for sure. And
What's interesting, Gemma, is not, at least in Japan, not only was it more than the first 3 Pikmin games, it was actually more than the 3 of them combined.
Wow. Okay.
Which
That's
kind of blew me away. I had to read the headline twice. I'm like, wait, what? Like all the sales of the first Pikmin, all the second, all the third, add them all up, and Pikmin 4 still sold more in Japan than its first.
Yeah, that's really good. That's amazing, in fact. And yeah, I mean, like, sorry, you go, Kirk.
Well, so does that include like the new play control versions that they put out on Wii and stuff, or just the initial releases?
I would.
Well, I mean, it's still impressive. Right? I actually don't
I
know.
mean, yeah, either way. Also, a lot more people own a Switch. It
This
was
is
going to
true.
do a lot better than Pikmin 3. Of course,
Yeah.
Pikmin 3 was also released for the Switch. So,
Yeah, and I don't know if it includes Pikmin 3 Deluxe or not.
I think
I
it's
don't know.
probably just the originals, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
but
but
still,
even
it's
still, it's
great to hear.
Yeah, it is really good. It's good that people are on board, and the reviews have been fantastic. So I very much look forward to your review, Kirk.
Oh, yeah. Well,
How are you
spoiler
going?
alert, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah. Yes, I think we're all
I know too
fans.
much already.
Yeah. So how are you going with the game anyway? You're up to day 30, did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right around day 30. There are two worlds that I have 100% completion on.
Cool.
There's another one that I'm right around maybe 57, I think. And then one I just started. So I have access to four worlds. Um, and I'm having a blast with, like, my favorite thing about the game is unlocking new areas. Getting to the point where I can go explore somewhere that I haven't. And it's always been funny to me because Tyranny's playing it now, and has come with time. She was taking a 100% approach, like she wanted to get one world completely done before moving on. And I don't think that's the way to do it, because you get a lot of things on the other worlds that end up helping you, like different colored Pikmin that you can bring back and then have access to, which are going to help you past some of the things. But even playing it that much and just straight through, I'm not bored ever doing it. Every time I pick it up, there's something different to do. So it's not like some games you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm here, and then you got to slog through a whole bunch of areas to get to something exciting again. It's just fun every single time you pick it
Yeah. Is that going to be your review title? Pikmin 4, not boring.
up. Not a slog.
Not a slug. Yeah, no, I agree. It's I mean, it is like that. It's exactly like that. So I mean, Hayden has been playing it more than I have, but I've been watching a lot, and he's unlocked the purple Pikmin, which I think I mentioned a few weeks ago was something he was excited to do because he hadn't played Pikmin 1 or 2 previously. So he never had the purple Pikmin as part of his, main deployment. So that was an exciting moment. I don't know by day 30, because I think he's up to like day 18. How have you got all like the rock and the winged and all the Pikmin?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. I know I have the winged. The purple ones were the last ones I got. I got the rock Pikmin early. Like, I just happened
Oh,
into the
okay.
cavern where they were, within the first 5 or 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the winged Pikmin, and then the poison,
Yeah. Okay.
and then purple.
Cool. Oh wow, we've done it in a weird order then.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's great because you can just go wherever.
Yeah.
This side of the map will have this, that side will have that. So there's no right way or wrong way to do it.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, it's very exciting. And I mean, the latest issue of our magazine, which is coming out this week, right, is all about Pikmin 4. Trev, did you want to give us a little update on how that's going?
Yeah, I am holding a physical copy in my hand as I'm talking. It just came in, big old box full of fresh issues. I'm getting ready to mail out next week, and it's just awesome. I can't wait for everyone to see it. Of course, the cover is Pikmin 4,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I just want to reach in the cover and pet Ochi. Just looks so great.
Yeah.
Put your character profile on Pikmin, Kirk's cover story on Pikmin, and just so many other awesome things. It's got uh, Kirk's picks from Super Nintendo World, and Jemma, your interview with Barry from Premium Edition, Justin's interview with the Super Mega Baseball people, our usual stuff, Katie's Culture Corner, our Let's Talk. Kaylin and I talk about the Mario movie. I do
Yeah,
a gear
right.
review, and just, yeah, it's everything. Every page is just awesome. I
Yeah.
can't wait to get it out. Everyone's so patient, and we really appreciate that because there's a long time between issues, especially when we're doing it the way we are with the small team trying to get it out there. But Yeah, it's immortalized in print. You'll have it, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as we enjoy, putting it together.
Yeah, for sure. Very exciting. I can't wait to see it myself and hold it. It's so cool. Yeah, very exciting. And you mentioned the Mario movie, which is a nice little segue because it's coming out, what is it, on streaming services very, very soon?
Yeah, August 3rd, which of course we're recording this July 28th, so it'd just be a couple days after this post.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And it's cool if you missed it in the cinema, or even if you saw it in the cinema, if you just want to see it again. Obviously, I bought a copy, but um, yeah, for people who are just curious, I think it's going to win over some new fans.
Yeah, true. Which streaming platform is it on?
I think it's debuting on Peacock, because that's the like that's who the rights fall to, at least initially, and then I think it's going to expand probably to like Netflix or whatever. But
Oh, okay. I don't know what Peacock is in Australia. I don't think that's a thing. I'm not
oh
sure. Maybe it's
yeah, that's
Paramount. Is it Paramount? No? I don't know.
no, Paramount's its own.
It's its own thing? Okay.
It's its own thing, because they have their own like
Mm.
theatrical movies that, like the new Transformers just came out on the Paramount one.
Oh, okay. That seems quick.
But no, this is I'm gonna double check here real quick.
Yeah. That is quick
Yeah,
for
it's gonna be
Transformers because,
exclusive
yeah.
on Peacock.
Okay. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what the
What'd you
equivalent
say?
is here.
I'm sorry, Gemma.
Oh, just that Mario, I was reading how I think it's been 120-ish days between cinema release and streaming release. It's a big gap anyway, which,
Mm,
I think during COVID we got used to things coming out a bit quicker.
we did.
Going straight to streaming. But it seems like things are going back to a bit more of a three
Mm.
to 4 month ish kind of gap. I don't know.
Well, and it's still pulling in. Obviously, not much, but a lot of the budget theaters, still have it, and it's still pulling in. A
Mm,
little bit of change here and there, and that all adds up. I mean, it's the highest grossing movie of the year so far, so they want to get every nickel and dime they can.
it's the highest grossing movie
Yep. Take
of.
that, Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie's kind of inexplicably out to a quick start, but I don't know if it can catch Mario Brothers. We'll have to see.
That will be interesting. Yeah. I didn't know it was the highest of the year. I thought it was the highest animated or something, but it's actually the highest of the year so far.
Yeah, was it like
Yeah.
1.4 billion, something like that?
Yeah, right. That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
very good.
And there's no Barbie video games, so I think
Yeah,
that's
true.
going to be the deal breaker. Or not one recently, I should say.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, true.
That seems like a missed opportunity. I mean, I don't want to divert the conversation to Barbie, but there's, why not a new Barbie video game to go along with the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like a missed opportunity. Was there something on the NES or the Super Nintendo that they could have put onto the Switch Online or something?
There were games for both those systems, actually.
Yeah.
I know that because my cousin had, I think, the Super Nintendo one.
Right.
And I remember the NES cover because it was published by a company I knew, but I don't know. There's probably licensing rights with a lot of those licensed games. That's why they don't show up on Switch Online.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's very topical, so that's okay, Kirk, for bringing it up. Yeah, I haven't seen it myself. Don't know if either of you have, but anyway, I have seen the Mario movie several times. So, and I did see it twice at the movies. So part of that 1.4 billion does belong to me. So
wow. See, you better than me. I only saw it once.
Yeah, it was good though. Yeah,
I couldn't find a 3D showing around here. I would have seen it twice because I like 3D movies, but they were just none of the local theaters had that. I didn't want to drive that far.
Yeah, well, Kirk did, didn't you? You saw it in 3D.
Yeah. That's actually. I'm surprised I haven't yet, but I want to get the I want to get the 4K Blu-ray because since I saw it in 3D, it was kind of dim, and I get the feeling that a lot of the colors and just the gloriousness of the animation was lost. Although with the 3D spectacle, it was cool, but now I just want to see it in all its brilliance. We'll say. So we'll pick up the 4K and watch it.
Yeah, cool, nice. I look forward to hearing if that actually translates well and maybe which one you prefer, but I'd say it's the 4K would be really good. Yeah, it'd be amazing. Well, speaking of Switch Online, I guess in terms of Barbie, at least there were a couple of games dropped during the week for the Game Boy Color, which I thought were very cool, and they are the Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons, which Trev, you and I talked about on the Coopercast not so long ago to celebrate the Zelda anniversary, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I'm really excited, especially for my wife, who's a big Zelda fan and a big top-down Zelda fan, but she never played these because she's not necessarily like a handheld gamer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super stoked for her to be checking these out, and we'll probably be playing them. You know, they're not two-player games, but we'll probably be taking turns in sections. And
Yeah, you guys are good at that. You're very good at sharing.
and I'm really excited. I think I'm debating which one to play first.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
well, I don't know if it's because you told me to or not, because I can't remember. But when we talked about it on the other podcast, I hadn't played them, if you remember. So I downloaded Seasons on the 3DS and played that so we could talk about it on the show. I haven't played Ages yet. So for A, I'm excited because that's like a new game for me, completely new. And B, did I play Seasons first because you told me to, or did I just choose it randomly?
I don't know. It's weird because when I first played these, I had Ages as a cartridge, but I didn't have Seasons. And then I think it was when I bought A Link Between Worlds, they had a promo where you could get one of the Oracle games. Then I think that's when I got Seasons, and I might actually like Seasons a little more because I like the color variety with the different seasons. But
yeah,
it
does. It does look good. Yeah,
they're both good. It's hard to decide. But I also feel like I have to because people link them together so often, and they're distinct games. You know, they're not like just a reskin like Pokemon or anything.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting into Ages. I really enjoyed Seasons. What was that? Was that last year or the year before? Now I can't remember when we did that series.
Yeah, it's a good game. It was fun talking about it.
Yeah, super fun. So yeah, I was hoping to check it out before the show today, but I haven't had a chance. But I will get into it, and I mean it's there permanently, so it's not like it's a limited time thing. But yeah, definitely cool. And if you haven't, I suppose we can highly recommend these titles. I mean, I haven't played Ages, but can definitely recommend Seasons. And if you somehow missed them like I did or Jen did, Trev's wife, then yeah, go check them out. It's on Switch Online. Just dropped a couple of days ago. So yeah. Have you tried these, Kirk, at all?
I did when they released them for the 3DS. Is that where they came out?
Yeah,
somewhat recently. Yeah. So I have them. I have them installed. I know I didn't complete them, and I can't even remember which one I did. But yep. I know I got at least 50% into one of them. So I got to charge up my 3DS and figure out where I left off, and then I'll probably complete one there and then to play the other on the Switch.
Yeah. Stop playing Zara the Fastest Fairy and start playing Zelda.
But it's right there on the screen every time I turn it on. How can I resist? I need to move it like to the secondary screen so I'm not tempted.
She will. She'll always be the fastest fairy in our hearts. So. Yes. Well, yeah, that's a good plan. Definitely a good plan. Yeah, so that's a nice little addition, and I mean, I don't know if you call it. Well, it's not really good or bad timing, but it's interesting, I suppose. Maybe they waited, excuse me, a couple of months after Tears of the Kingdom to release a couple of classic Zelda titles. You know, now that people have had not their fill, because this is a game that we'll play forever, but had enough time to spend with Tears of the Kingdom. They want some classic 2D action, and these two games, they stand a little bit separately to the others, don't they? Because they were made, was it Capcom who made these ones? Yeah.
Who also would go on to do a Minish Cap, which is another really great game too.
Yeah, one of my personal favorites.
Oh.
Yeah, Minish Cap is great. I wonder if that's I wonder if we'll see that reemerge.
That is on there.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yep. Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. That would be a fun game to update, but like the visual style is so charming already. I'd kind of be worried what they would do with it. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just don't need to. You don't need to change it for the sake of it, I don't think.
Yeah, it still looks great in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it does. Of course it does. But I mean, you
Hmm.
do love those old school games anyway, right?
I do, yeah. I mean, as much time as I've sunk into like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, I'm a huge traditional,
Mm.
Zelda fan. I feel like the games are spaced out enough too, where
Hmm.
you can't really get sick of them because we have to wait years in between.
We do. Yeah, absolutely. I'm still hankering for another 2D adventure, like a new one. I think they should do that next. But who knows,
Yeah,
right? And we had to wait this long for Mario, so Mario Wonder. I've been pining for a new 2D Mario for a very long time.
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
We
maybe
went
longer
from
than.
like famine to feast to back to famine.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that one does well and it leads to another feast season.
Yeah.
We'll see. Still got a few months before that comes out. But a few other new games that I thought that came out on the Switch this week, not on the Switch Online, but on the Switch proper, which I thought might be just worth mentioning in passing. They just caught my eye, and they are Disney Illusion Island and something called Venba. And Disney Illusion Island, I just thought this was. Well, I wanted to ask you guys: is it a throwback to? There is an Illusion Island from the like 90s or something, right?
Yeah, there's Castle of Illusion,
That's it. Yes,
World of
Castle.
Illusion, and I think Land of
Mm-hmm.
Illusion.
So it's sort of a sequel, kind of, but different style. Different.
Like, yeah. I mean, I haven't played it, and we haven't gotten a review code, so I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
when I will. I do remember in a podcast quite a while back saying I was semi looking forward to it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wowed by what I've seen. Like, it looks like kind of like one of those Rayman games from Ubisoft or
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft. I'm not sure how
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
that.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. As I look at it here.
Yeah, like the animation looks great, but the backgrounds just don't really seem to pop with that Disney kind of like aesthetic. I don't know. So,
Mm. Yeah,
but
interesting.
I love multiplayer games. I love local multiplayer games. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it
this one
is
is.
cheaper. I mean, it's what $39.99. That's $20 cheaper than a lot of other new games. So,
Mm-hmm. True.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it goes in terms of popularity and reviews, I guess, because we haven't seen any yet. It's only just come out. Well, sorry, there probably are a few online, but I haven't read any.
Yeah,
Um,
I glanced at some. They do seem a little bit mixed, but
mhm.
there's some
Yeah.
good. I think it's in the low 70s, so that's not. That's still pretty good. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Metacritic.
that's fine. I mean, it's tough with, I guess, platformers because you're competing with so many others. And then it's tough with Mickey because he's so well known. And I think those Castle of Illusion type games were quite popular back in the day. I,
Oh, they were, yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
still got them. They're great games.
right. So it's leaning on that nostalgic factor a little bit, which can work kind of for or against it, I suppose, depending on how this one pulls off. And it feels like, I mean, the animation style looks, I don't know, is it more like an older Mickey, like a not older as in like his age, but older cartoon style, like a more like a 20s Mickey compared to like a 90s Mickey? I don't know, how do I explain that? It's like
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It does seem, and I don't know if it's just part of the way the aesthetic works, but it does seem like that's kind of a like intentional thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
which
it
isn't.
looks like kind of like a pre-war Mickey,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
and
maybe
in
that
motion,
explains
it
the
looks
simple
good.
backgrounds too.
Could do.
Yeah, I guess
Mm,
that could make sense. I mean, it
mm,
does look good in movement, so that's probably the big thing. I mean, people nowadays are so into frame rate, like
mm-hmm,
it's like I don't know. Plus, with four people on screen, I don't know.
mm, yeah.
I feel like I keep saying I don't know, but I have to play the game,
But
I
you don't
guess.
know.
Well, you don't know what you don't know. That's okay. That's fine.
I
And
could
it's
fill a
hard.
book with things I don't know,
Hey, you could fill a library with things I don't know, so that's okay.
and they've done it.
True. Touche. Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. I mean, if we're not going to be reviewing it, it's a bit hard to form an opinion. So we'll see if
I'll
anyone
have to
actually.
check if anyone on the cruise picked it up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's worth asking. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But the other one, that I mentioned briefly was Venbar, and the reason this, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. I don't think there's another way you could say it, Venbar. Excuse me. But we actually interviewed the team behind Venbar in our previous magazine issue. Actually, Roger did an interview with them. I think it was part of an Indie World Showcase a little while ago. And it stood out at the time because of its fairly unique art style. It's got a really nice visual look to it. And it's also an amalgamation of two genres. It's a cooking sim crossed with, I guess, a narrative storytelling kind of, branch pathway kind of deal. So, I mean, I haven't played it. I've read the interview, obviously, and I've seen images and trailers. And I didn't realize it was coming out this week, but it has just released, and it does look really nice. And the story seems quite moving as well. So it's all about an immigrant, a mother from India who's immigrated to Canada, and there's language barriers and cultural barriers, and she's got a child who grows up in Canada, and food is kind of their commonality, because she's come from India, whereas he's now growing up in Canada, so he assimilates much more easily, and food is their sort of common language, I guess, which is an interesting sort of take on things. So it could be a nice tale, a nice narrative story behind it with this cooking sim to go along with it. So yeah, just thought I'd bring that up and mention it because it seemed like it was worth mentioning.
Do you remember when that interview was? That was like very
I
early
think
in
it
the year,
was.
right?
Yeah, I think it was last issue 64. Yeah, it was issue 64, and our current one's 65, right?
But for if people want to catch it it's on the site too, right?
That is a good question.
Because
That is a great question.
some of our interviews make the mag and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just
Yeah,
curious if that was a mag exclusive or if it was on the site.
I feel like it was a mag exclusive, but I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. Can't find it in my search right now. I'm doing a Google search, but yeah, doesn't mean it's
Well,
correct.
whether it was or not, all our interviews are good. Some are just some make print
Mm,
and some don't. I don't know.
yeah, I yeah, it's definitely in the last issue. Maybe we can put it on the site as well since the game's just come out as well. It might be nice to promote it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does look really nice. I think the art style is quite
I do
special.
think it's mag exclusive. I just searched on the site. I
Mm,
didn't see it. So
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
maybe that's something we can do later. Um, yeah,
inquire
but
about back issues, people.
yeah,
We do have a limited supply.
and we have 64 issues. So. Although we didn't do print for a lot of them, did we? So we're just back to print. Issue 64 was our return to print, right?
Well, this is 65, so yeah, it would be.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Love it.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I see it right here on the cover, Gemma.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Looking at the last one, Venba interview.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's a decent interview. Like it's a couple of pages, I think, and they go into detail about how they form the studio and the game and what it means in terms of the cooking and the language and all that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good
Yeah, and
read.
the interview looks nice. I love this color scheme. It's kind of like looks like a fall type thing.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, so hopefully it's received well. Again, I haven't seen any reviews just yet, but hopefully it's popular and does well for the studio because I think it's just an indie. Well, it is an indie developer, so this is the sort of
I
thing
have
that.
Venba game. If you want to follow him on Twitter or whatever the heck
Mhm.
Twitter's called now, X. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, don't even go there. No, not a fan. Yeah, X, whatever it is. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's look at some games we're playing this week, and we have quite a few, which is awesome. So, Kirk, would you care to start with Cross Tales?
I will. Cross Tales is the game that I've been playing in between Pikmin rounds.
Mhm.
This is a game from Kemco, who a lot of gamers will know as churning out a bunch of old school RPGs, JRPGs. This one is a bit different, though. It's got a higher production value. It's developed by a company called Rhydon or Ridion. I'm not sure what the actual pronunciation was, but they did the Mercenaries games, which are kind of like an isometric turn-based tactical game on a grid. Like Final Fantasy Tactics comes up quite often when you're looking for a game to compare these two. Although Cross Tales itself, to me, looks like a game I'm not sure a lot of people played on the Switch called God Wars. Not God of War, remember, God Wars, which was developed by a company called Kodakawa, I believe, and it was published by NIS America. It's still available, although I think NIS America is dropping it for some reason. So I'll see what happens there. But anyway, Cross Tales is interesting because it tells two different stories and two different tales, and they cross paths frequently throughout the game. So at the beginning, you select one of two characters to play, and you follow that through to the end, but occasionally run into this other character who you can also play. I'm beginning to think I did it wrong. Like, I would like to play one until you get to the point where the paths cross, and then flip over and play the other character, like start a completely new save game and do it that way so I can follow both stories at the same time. But it plays like most of those types of games. You place people on a map. Height comes into it. There are a lot of objects that you can stand on or move around for defense or better attacks. All kinds of power-ups. There's an awful lot to manage. I think maybe a little too much would be one of my complaints about the game. And it focuses a lot on money. So what you want to do throughout the whole game is make money, and then you can use money to increase your skills or buy new armor or hire additional people to help you in battle. So you're really managing finances off screen to prepare yourself for going in and being able to take on the next level. So anybody who's enjoyed a Fire Emblem style game, or as I mentioned, God Wars, or Final Fantasy Tactics, anything like that, definitely a game you should check out, especially if you've played Kemco games before and you get an idea of what they are. This will change your expectations a little bit. It's not what you usually get from them, so it's worth a look.
Cool. Yeah, it looks really nice. I mean, I like the isometric style.
Yep.
And the characters look really, I don't know, interesting.
Yeah, there's a little more polish to it.
Yeah, it's got to be, because it's like double the price they usually charge for their games.
Yep.
This one, $29.99.
Usually they're like $14.99.
Yeah.
For like the turn-based.
Yeah. Then they usually have the DLC and things that make it easier. This game is not interested in giving you ways to make it easier. You learn how to play or you stop playing. But there are different there are different difficulty levels, so you can start off on an easier level if you want, and then up it for the second playthrough when you're playing as the second character.
Yeah. How much time do you think it is for the full game? Like how many hours would you put into it?
I'll let you know once I get closer to the end. Well, also there's since you can play it twice, since it gives you a different story, your second playthrough is a completely different story with a different character, so that would effectively double the time.
True.
But yeah, I imagine at the end it may be around like 40 to 50 hours.
Yeah, okay.
But it also depends. They, of course, give you a lot of practice levels, or in between, like after you win a battle on a map, you can advance the story or go back and replay the map to get more money, to get, to build things up. And you kind of have to do that, really, which is unfortunate because, you play a map, you finish it, then you just got to do the exact same map again if you want to level up. They make some changes to it, so it's not the exact same thing. But so the more you do that, the longer it's going to take.
Yeah, fair enough. So are you enjoying your time with it?
Yeah. It's pretty much right on the level I expected. When I was looking at it, I do know that the Mercenaries games that this company developed ahead of time kind of got fair to middling reviews. Big complaints were that the stories weren't that great, the characters weren't that great, and I didn't play those games, but they're fine here. They're not great. They're not. It's not the most involved story or the most charismatic people, but it pushes along well and allows you to focus on the combat.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds interesting. Cool. Yeah, looking forward to hearing your final thoughts then when it's ready, when you're ready. Did we want to give a Pinball FX update? I can see that on my list here. And I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, Kirk, but Trev also has been playing Pinball FX, and you went on that show. How are you going with it?
Pinball FX3 is one of my most played games on the Switch, but I'm not a fan of change just for the sake of change. And I'm playing these tables, and I'm finding like the menu layout like unintuitive, and it's like, why change this? I'm finding the visuals blurrier, and I'm like, is the engine that different to justify this kind of muddy? Like, I snapped photos playing the same table in FX and FX3, and it's night and day to me.
Wow.
And I'm not usually a graphics snob.
Yeah.
But I guess it's because I played it so much.
Yeah.
They got their work cut out for them if they want to win, I think, over the fans, especially with no real cross-buy in place that I know of. But yeah, I'll save most of my gripes for when I consult with Kirk on the review. But
that's right, you guys are doing a co-review on this one.
Yeah. We'll be starting that up soon. I do find it funny, Trevor, that you mentioned the interface. I actually think getting to the pinball machines is easier in the new one than it is in the old one, than in FX3. But I also wonder if that's because I don't play it as much as you do, so you're just accustomed to exactly what you got to do to get in there. And every time I'm pick it up, I can't figure things out for a few seconds, and then I eventually work my way into the tables.
I guess if you're just playing classic table, I could see that. But if you're playing like trying to like look at the leaderboards or activate power-ups or some of these different things, I guess it's some of those extras that I find a little cumbersome.
Yeah.
But if you're just into playing the table straight, I can see how this could be a bit more quicker.
You mentioned change for the sake of change. Is that like there's no reason why the developers have changed engines? Like, is it to streamline things, or is it cheaper, or they weren't forced to? They kind of just thought, hey, let's see if we can make it work on this. Yeah.
I will say I follow them on Twitter or on X, excuse me. And
it's like still twitter.com, right? As long as it's twitter.com, we can call it Twitter.
Yeah.
Currently, and I gotta say, even though they've like talked about it, it's not to my satisfaction. They haven't really sold me on why this new engine is superior. It doesn't jump off to me when I'm playing it. I'm still finding a lot of the same quirks, like the ball dying on the flipper, which is handy, but it's also not realistic. And I don't want to see them end up like the Pinball Arcade, where they have all these tables and they just can't manage them. And yeah, they need to really work on their marketing.
Yeah,
because it's not jumping out as I'm playing the game. So convince me why this is going to be the future, why it's worth reinvesting in these same tables. Convince me that you're going to make the visual sharper. Like, I don't know.
It almost sounds like they weren't ready for release. Like, if the visuals are taking a hit,
I don't know why they released it on Switch when FX3 was on Switch. I don't know why they didn't hold it for Switch 2 or whatever it's going to end up be calling.
Yeah.
How does it have you? I guess I could look at screenshots or video, but I wonder if it does look better on like a PS5 or an Xbox or something where.
It's
for one reason or another. I mean, I guess it would have to be, but.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
I mean, again, I'm not usually a graphics guy, but like I feel like FX3 tables were so sharp, and these just have
Yeah.
like a muddy look. Like I almost want to wipe my screen if I'm in handheld mode, or
Right.
wipe the TV off. Like there's some kind of film.
Yeah. And I think if you're not a graphics person and you notice it and it's enough for you to even mention or think about, that's not good, right? Like that's
It's hard to unsee for me. And
mm,
again, I've sunk in hundreds of hours on FX3, so
mhm.
maybe a more casual player isn't going to notice. And I mean, obviously, the tables are the big thing. It's not
Mhm.
the visuals, but I'm excited for new tables I didn't have in FX3, like Adam's Family or whatever. But
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm getting nitpicky in my older age, and I'm not liking a lot of it. But time will tell.
Time will tell. You're entitled to have an opinion, and that's good. And especially if it balances out with whatever Kirk says in his review.
I hope
It'll be
Kirk loves it because maybe that'll balance our scores.
it'll be a fun
Well,
read, and it might be the end of collaborative reviews. No,
see, if
that
I differ too much, then we have to strip down to the waist again and fight it out. And I don't think our readers want to see that.
Uh,
well,
that'll
we
be How
can
would that work? We get the battle of gout versus Lyme disease. It'll be like a slap fest.
we can we can poll them. We can put a poll up and see how we go with that. Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, it's disappointing, but we'll see. We'll see what those final thoughts are like. And I mean, do you think they will improve? I mean, if this is like I said, it sounds a bit like it was rushed or released early. Updates might improve some of this, or
I
I
get
mean,
I
they've
get the
got a
feeling I get the feeling that this is the engine that they're using now, and this is the way the game's going to look.
mm-hmm.
I don't think they make any adjustments. It's a
Mm,
different look from the more, I don't want to say cartoony, but yeah, the older version. It's almost like they wanted to make the machines look more real instead of making them look nice. And
right.
I want them to look nice. I don't care if the colors are a little too garish or everything's a little too sharp,
Yeah.
or the lights are too bright in things. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I do agree that I like the look of FX3 better. Um, and I think when Trevor and I get into the review, maybe I'll try to steer us a little more towards the quality of the tables themselves instead of the way they look, and we'll see if
Right.
maybe that can be the new game saving grace.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair because it is ultimately about the tables, and they already said FX3 is not going to get new tables, so all
Yeah.
the newbies are going to be in this. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was thinking like Pinball Arcade would let you like dim the lights or make them brighter. Maybe there could be a feature like that to kind of
I, I think
tease
there is a
people.
gamma setting,
Oh, is
so
there? See,
it's
I
not
gotta I
quite as
gotta feel a little
intuitive,
bit
but
more.
I think there's one in there. I'll have to check.
I couldn't
Mm.
figure it out in the menus.
Yeah. Not intuitive.
I'm like,
Well,
what's
hey.
Gamma? Isn't that robot from Mega Man? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. It
uh,
is. Well, Trev, how about we talk about something a bit more pleasant for you? Then let's circle back to Pikmin because I know you've been playing an older Pikmin in lieu of Pikmin 4. Do you want to tell us about
yeah,
your time with Hey Pikmin, which is a 3DS title?
yeah. My tendency tends to be if I don't get a game on launch day, like a first party game, I want to still feel like I'm kind of caught up in the hype. So I'll go back and play
Mm,
an older game in the series.
cool.
I've done that a lot, with other games, and it worked out good in this case because even though I've had Hey Pikmin for years, I never played it except for the
Yeah.
demo. Um,
Right.
Jen, my wife, she beat the game. In fact, I was looking at her profile because it's just full of stuff, but I had never played it, so I'm like, hey, this is a cool little. It's not going to replace the console games.
Mm,
It's kind of a chill, experience. I do wish it was in 3D because I think it would look good in 3D, but
yeah, it would actually.
um, yeah, it's just a different take on Pikmin, like a side story or whatever. But I like it.
Mm.
It's relaxing.
Yeah, it is. I remember reviewing it back at the time, and I wanted to say also. So we're recording on the 28th of July. This episode won't be out till Monday, but this is Friday, and it actually happens to be the anniversary of this game today. Released in North America and Europe today, 28th of July in 2017. So it's 6 years old today. Happy
Nice.
birthday, Hey Pikmin.
6 years.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing actually.
Time flies.
It does. It does. Yes, this is like a side-scrolling platforming kind of adventure, which is
Yeah.
like you said, a kind of a departure from the usual formula. But it
Yeah.
worked.
It's
It was
definitely chiller. I feel like I haven't lost nearly as many Pikmin as
Mm.
I do in the other games, but which is good and bad. It's good because I hate when they die. It breaks my
Mhm.
heart, but it's also bad maybe if you're looking for a little more of a challenge. But
True. Yeah, that's
there's other
true.
games I can get challenging, I suppose.
Yeah. And there's still, I mean, there's different environments. I remember there's a water section where you swim underwater, and there's eel things that kind of pop out. I don't know if you're that far along. The enemies like the bulbs, they're side scrolling now, so you have to kind of dodge them. You can't dodge them in, X, what is it? XY, depth. What I'm trying to say. There's no
Yeah.
3D element, so you can't run around them. You have to just
Yeah.
go left and right, basically. So
I think I'm about 2/3 through based on the amount of what is it, sparkling I have.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
But I
and there's
got a
lots of
little ways
little
to go.
yeah, there's lots of hidden treasures, that you can find along the way, which is
There
cool.
is.
Mm.
I missed like a Zelda Game Boy cart, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
can get it.
Yeah, and there's that Pikmin Park as well. That's a little extra
Yeah, that's a neat
mode.
little
Mm.
touch. I almost feel like that could be like some kind of I don't know. I feel like they have potential with that idea.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they would do with it, but I kind of like it as a fun little extra.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that would have been a nice mobile app actually to bring to mobile devices maybe. I mean, Pikmin Bloom's cute and fun. But it's good for you because it's about walking and encouraging healthy
Yeah.
activity. But for those who can't walk or don't walk, yeah, a nice little Pikmin Park app would be actually pretty cool, I reckon. Anyway, bit of a side note there. Yeah. So I'm glad you're enjoying your time with Hey Pikmin. And if listeners haven't played it and you're wanting a break from Pikmin 4 or you just wanted to catch up on the series, yeah, check out my review. It's on purenintendo.com. I reviewed it back 6 years ago. My gosh, can't even believe it's that long. Yeah, but definitely a fun game. I don't know how
it tied me over till I can get the new one.
Yeah, how would one pick that up these days? You'd have to buy it secondhand, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think that's
That's
the
a
only option.
good question.
Yeah, there's
No more eShop.
Yeah,
no more eShop.
No eShop.
I guess eBay or DK Oldies, Looky Games, one of those. I don't know what they have in Australia.
They can borrow it. Just call me up and borrow
it. Yeah. Yeah, if they're in town, just
you could probably like Walmart does a lot like of those third party like sellers, so you could probably still find it. It'd probably be overpriced, but
true. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I don't have the amiibo Jemma, so I can't do any of the amiibo stuff. That's my one regret.
Yeah, well.
And I was watching your amiibo short.
Oh, too, yeah. Did you like that?
I had a Pikmin amiibo.
Yeah, I do love the Pikmin amiibo. It's so cool. I was thinking about amiibo because why didn't they release a new one for Pikmin 4? That would have been good timing.
There's rumors of restocks around our neck of the woods, so I don't know.
Of Pikmin amiibo?
Just amiibo in general.
Right.
So.
Okay.
I think I saw a report that Nintendo is going to release a bunch more.
Yeah.
Hopefully Pyra and Mithra.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, it seems like they're still... I mean, there's the new... Is it Zelda? There's 2 new Tears of the Kingdom ones coming out, which I think I pre-ordered, but I can't remember what they are now. One is Zelda and one is... I can't remember what it is. There's 2 though, right? Yeah, I would have liked a new Pikmin.
President Hudson?
Yeah, no, it's Atticus. Whatever his name is.
That amiibo's crooked, like it's gonna fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get the Link amiibo and stand him next to him in order for that to actually work.
That would be good. I still haven't met President Hudson, Kirk. Every time I find Addison, and I know you said it's not with Addison. It's not like it's one of those puzzles, but I'm like,
there's just a very specific area, and when you get there, you'd be like, oh well, yeah, of course this is where it is. So yeah, it's not a secret or something you have to find. You'll stumble upon him eventually.
Eventually, yes, I hope so. I want to meet him.
You keep wasting all your time inside of dungeons.
I do. Well, I finished a dungeon this week, so that was a highlight. Or
what?
Yeah, I did. My first one. Yeah, I did the Wind Temple. So I think last week I had arrived at the Wind Temple, but then I actually went and finished it last weekend because I couldn't take talking to you, Trev, and not having finished at least one dungeon.
That was my first one too.
Yeah,
that was my second one, I think. So what do you? I'm curious, Jemma. Like compared to the Divine Beast, like what'd you think of the temple?
Well, it was. I mean, the Wind Temple wasn't particularly hard. It's just a series of puzzles, and like you guys were saying, I think Justin said this specifically. You're given the points on the map, so you know exactly where to go. So it kind of takes out that exploratory element to some extent. You sort of like, well, that's the yellow dot I need to find, so I'm just going to try to get to there. So, but I had fun with it. I mean, I enjoyed unlocking each of those the gates on the ship. So you have to find the gears, and Chulin has to blow them, and some of them, use his wind power to kind of make them move and unlock them. And the boss fight was really good. I did enjoy the boss fight.
That
was really fun.
Yeah, that one's not even the best one.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No,
that's
I really
one
enjoyed
thing. I really like Breath of the Wild. I get sick of those like kind of purple Ganon like things, and I don't know. I felt like the bosses were weak, so I like this new Tears of the Kingdom bosses a lot better.
Yeah, because it wasn't hard. It only took me one go to beat the boss, but it was, somewhat stressful, especially when he has the second phase with the tornadoes that he throws at you. So you got to kind of dodge them, but you got to get to his, whatever that crystal thing you have to shatter on his back is before he covers it up again, I suppose. And he's shooting spikes at you at the same time. So there's a lot to work with. There's a lot going on. And the whole time you're flying and you're kind of gliding and then not gliding, and Chulin can push you along if you need him to get closer. It's good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Which temple should I attempt next? In your opinion?
I don't know if I have an opinion. The first one I did was the Fire Temple, which I think was in the depths, actually. So I don't know if you've done much in the depths.
Not a whole lot. No. Still afraid of the depths. But I know I need to. I was thinking of Zora, going to the Zora kind of area, the water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I've been there. I've actually been there, but I just left.
That was a fun one to find. That was a fun one to find.
Okay. Yeah. Bit less frustrating than Chulin's little outing.
Well, for me, it was because I got up there before I had Tulin. So
okay.
I couldn't actually do anything. I mean, I could climb. I was like climbing around the outside, jumping in windows or whatever. But I don't know. It was weird.
That and the guy helping you is I can't remember his name. Who's the
Zora?
Yeah.
It's not the prince, is it? I haven't got him, so I don't know. But it's not the prince.
I can't think of it either.
What is the prince? Is it the prince?
Yeah. Well, wasn't he? He was in Breath of the Wild, wasn't he? He was quite heavily featured, right?
I just remember it was fun finding.
It is him.
Okay.
Yeah, but also he's a cool character. Like I found him much less annoying than the little bird kid.
Yeah.
Not that I minded the bird kid. Again, I don't know anyone's name, so I'm going to call him bird kid.
Chulin is the bird kid.
Okay. Do you have Tulin active, Jemma? Like, does Tulin fly alongside you?
Yeah, I've kept him. Yeah. Once you unlock more than one, do they all follow you around, or you can only have one at a time?
They can. Yes. You can put them away, but
yeah.
And if you're thinking they'll help you, like in battle, prepare to be disappointed because they're occasionally they'll help you, but in my experience, they're kind of good at just like shimmying around and
You can't rely on them, but every now and again they'll just do something that's so incredibly helpful. You're like, dude, where'd that come from? Why can't you do that more than every 3 or 4 minutes?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I
I will
mean,
say Toolin's pretty good with the bow. So
Yeah,
every
well,
now and then
it's
they'll get a
exactly
nice
what I was
bullseye.
saying. Yeah, he'll get some shots
yeah,
off that absolutely
yeah.
annihilate people that you thought you were going to be fighting for a while.
That is so true. Because yeah, he's floating along beside me right now in his little dark blue form, whatever it is. And most of the time he does nothing. And then I'm attacking enemies, and suddenly he'll just shoot. I'm like, oh, thanks, thanks for the backup. That was good. Like I just encroached into a camp of bokoblins, and there was a few of them there, and he helped me. I was like, oh, thanks, buddy.
I do like Toolin if you're like trying to jump from one mountain and fly to another one because they give you that little extra boost.
Yeah, yeah, it is
Depending on how much
helpful.
stamina you have.
True. I do have a whole extra round of stamina now, so I've filled up to like 2 circles, which is good.
Well,
And I've got
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and I've got over 10 hearts. Like I've got 12 or so now, so I'm feeling a little bit more powerful. But you guys probably got like 20 or 30. Sorry, Kirk, what were you saying?
I don't.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I don't like water temples though, Trev. Am I going to be unhappy when I get to the Zora land?
I'm not keen on water temples as a rule either. It wasn't my favorite, but it's not like, Ocarina of Time or anything like that.
Yeah, that scarred me.
And I think he has the least useful of all the abilities that you get when you get their like ghost forms following you around.
Right. Okay.
The dude, the fire dude who can blow up rocks for you, so you no longer have to use bombs to get into caves that are blocked up is wonderful.
Well, that's handy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because bomb flowers are in short supply. Like
that was the first guy I got.
Yeah. Okay.
I suppose you're right about the water guy. I'm trying to think. He's more useful as a means of defense, I think. But
yeah,
if you're looking to attack.
Yeah, because he can like take out a first hit or completely block a first hit.
Yeah. Cool.
Try not to ruin it for you, Jemma, but
no, that's all right. I mean, like I said last week, it's been well over 2 months now. So
it's probably hard to avoid spoilers at this point.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's still a super fun game. I think I only have 1 geoglyph left to find, I believe, and maybe 1 sky tower, 1 or 2 sky towers, I think. So yeah, most of the map's complete. Yeah, most of the geoglyphs are all there. I think it's just that bottom left, like southwest corner with the desert. I think I need to go down there.
Oh yeah, I think that was the last area we did.
Yeah, that's kind of the only blank spot. But I also don't have the heat resistant armor, so I need to go and find that before I tackle the desert. Otherwise, I got to wait till nighttime and then hurry.
Well, you can eat that hydro fruit and just run around in your underwear. That'll help you a little.
When I first got to a hot area, like ages ago, early on, I thought maybe if I took off all my clothes, whatever armor, it would help, but it didn't. It's like he's still too hot. Poor Link. That was my initial thought. Anyway, time is catching up on us, but yeah, I guess I wanted to just quickly mention the game that I'm playing at the moment, which is This Way Madness Lies, which Kirk might know because I think the code came from you or via you.
It did, and I was very interested in it because I was an English major in college.
Aw, I should have let you take it then.
No, believe me, I have enough JRPGs. But yeah, I will be very curious to see what you think, considering all the allusions to Shakespeare and the play that they're putting on. Are they putting on a play, these characters?
Kind of. I mean, I've only very lightly touched this one, but they're kind of sucked into like Shakespeare is your host, so he's right there at the front in the introduction saying, yeah, I'm Shakespeare, yes, that Shakespeare. And it's like you're in a theater and these 4 girls kind of get sucked into a portal which takes them into some kind of Shakespearean world. Like I've just met Romeo and Juliet, for example, and Romeo's been taken by this giant plant, so I have to help Juliet find Romeo.
Just like they taught us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love, and that's why I picked it up, because I sort of saw it. I'm like, this looks really cool, like different kind of style of, um, well, narrative at least. I mean, in
Yeah.
terms of Shakespeare. And what I love is, if you're not into, I mean, I don't know why you'd pick it up if you're not into Shakespeare, I guess. But if you don't understand the words, like, not the whole story is not all in Shakespearean English, but when you find Romeo, for example, or sorry, Juliet actually, she's talking in verse, but you can just easily press the left control stick to sort of swipe right to translate it, and it just instantly shows you what it means in plain
They,
English. So
yeah, they flip from the old English to the
yeah,
modern way of,
yeah, and then you can just flip back. It's really, really seamless and easy and quite funny. Like, they were talking about, I can't remember the line from Shakespeare, but it's about names, and when you flip it, it's like, Bob would be a good name for me, or something like that. It's like, it's kind of a funny take on it. So it's very tongue in cheek. It's very lighthearted. The girls, like the four heroines, they remind me of like, Sailor Moon. They look like Sailor Moon characters. So it's kind of like Sailor Moon crossed with Shakespeare, I suppose, with the
perfect.
JRPG. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
if it's
So
Shakespeare, they should call it The Bard's Tale. Oh, wait, I guess they can't
Well,
do that.
that's, we've, someone might get upset with the copyright issues there.
So it's, yeah, so far, and I'm like half an hour in, so not far, but it's good. I like the look of it. It looks like a maybe slightly simpler version of something like Secret of Mana, like in terms of style. They've tried to emulate that. It's quite cheap too. It's only like $10, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, which is pretty
maybe I'll
good.
pick it up on my own then.
Yeah, I think it's not a particularly long game. Like, it's not going to give you 40 or 50 hours worth of gameplay. You might get 5 to 10. And I'm only half an hour in, obviously, but from what I've seen online, I think it's not super long, but for $10, that's fine. Yeah. So, see, I'll watch this space, because I'll obviously play that more during the week and write up a review. But yeah, that was an interesting little one that I picked up. Yeah,
Cool.
very cool.
Looking forward to your review.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, very cool. Anything else we wanted to bring up or discuss before we close off? I can't believe this whole hour has passed already. That was really fast.
Yeah, it always, I don't know. It starts and I'm like, are we going to fill an hour? And the next thing I know, we're like over.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's other games we're playing, and for some reason, I've been hooked into Mario Kart Tour this week. I don't know why. I've just jumped in and been playing it, and I'm top of my
over
yeah.
8 deluxe.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just because it's easy to do in between other things when I'm not at home, kind of thing. And I'm top of the leaderboard for this week, because you have like a leaderboard, and I'm like at the very top.
Wow.
So
Oh, I will say this, Jemma. You didn't, on one of the podcasts, you're like, Trev wanted me to say I hustled him. I'm not sure what he meant.
yeah, what
Here's
did you
what I
mean?
meant.
What?
You made a point of saying before we played, you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, Harrison was like, was wiping the floor with me, and I don't think I'll do that good. And then you come out and destroy us. So you dropped our guards because you're like, oh, if her kid's beating her, we're gonna stand a chance. And then you wipe the floor with us. So that's what I meant by hustling.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I blamed Wiggler. I don't know why. It was just yeah. But Kamek I liked. Kamek was good. He did well for me. So and we have been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as well. Maybe it was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that just inspired me to jump back into Tour, to be honest. I don't know. There's a lot going on in Tour. There's actually a lot. It's actually pretty cool. Anyway, I won't go on and on about that. Thank you both very much for joining me this week and having this great discussion about all things Nintendo. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review on any of our podcasting platforms or on YouTube. And if you like and subscribe, you can get notified every week when there's a new episode. We do launch on Mondays. Looking forward to seeing that new magazine. Thank you, Trev. The new issue.
Wow. Thank you for doing the layout, or a good chunk of it anyway.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was super fun. Anyway, until next week, thank you both, and game on, everybody. Bye.
See ya.